Good morning. My name is Patrick Dunham. I'm the Clinical Programs Manager for Carillion Wellness. Today I'm going to be doing a chest and tricep upper body pressing routine for chronic conditions. I'm going to show some different variations of each exercise, so if you can't do one, I'll show some different options for you to do. So we have 5 exercises that we're going to be doing today. First one is going to be a push-up or a horizontal pressing movement. The first way we can do it, depending on what type of equipment you have or don't have, it's going to be a horizontal press. So if you do have a bench press or you have dumbbells, you can lie flat on your back and press, or get on the bench press and press. As far as intensity, we want moderate to higher intensity. If you only have limited equipment and you can do this with ease, you're going to want to do the higher set and rep scheme. So if it's moderate intensity for you personally, you want to do 6 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions with about a minute rest in between every single set. If this is more difficult for you, if a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the absolute most you could do, if this feels like an 8 or a 9, I want you to do 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps with closer to a 90-second to 2-minute rest period in between every set. So we'll get started here. First one with push-ups. You can do this initially against a wall. The lower that you go on the wall, the more difficult it's going to be. If that's way too easy, you can certainly get on the floor and do push-ups. I will show the easier version of each exercise first, and then I'll progress and show the more difficult one for each group, depending on your capabilities. For the wall push-ups, just like the other videos, we want to keep a good athletic stance. We want to make sure our shoulders are pulled back, our head is neutral, which means I'm not looking at the floor, I'm not looking up at the ceiling when I'm doing this exercise. I want my head to be in a good neutral position, shoulders pulled back, chest up, and I want to contract the entire core, engage the glutes. I don't want to be hyperextended, which is this, and I don't want to be bent forward. I want to contract my quadriceps or the thigh muscles, glutes, entire core, full body tension is what it's called. So first for the push-up, the easier version is going to be against the wall. I'll show it with my back to the wall, and then, or back to the camera, and then I'll come to the side and show it from the side view as well. I want to place my hands about a hand's length away from my shoulders, comfortably out to the side of my body. My elbows want to be at about a 45-degree angle from my shoulders. I do not want to flare my elbows up high. I want to keep them closer to my ribs. So when you're pressing, if you can keep your elbows closer at about a 45-degree angle, that is ideal. I also want to keep my shoulders engaged. I don't want to shrug up as I'm doing this. I want to keep them engaged, keep them locked in place. As I find a good position on the wall, hands up higher. Again, squeezing the quadriceps, squeezing the glutes and core. Keep my elbows in tight. I'm going to stop right before my head touches the wall and then press out. I'm briefly pausing in the middle and at the end of every single repetition. So again, if that is very difficult for you, want to stick to 4 sets of 8, 12 reps. If it's moderate, if you can do that with ease, you want to do a higher rep scheme. If that's very easy, we can go ahead and do a regular push-up. Same exact principle. My hands are slightly outside of my shoulders. Again, squeezing and contracting my entire body. I'm going to lower myself down, stop, and then press up. And then press up. So I'm getting full extension at the very top. And again, my hands, my fingers are pointed forward. I don't want them turned out like this. I want them facing forward as much as possible here. Just like that. So So again, if that's more difficult, you want to do the 4 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions. From the side view, for the wall presses or wall push-ups, it'll look like this. Find that good height for me, and then I'm going to pause, and then back up. Pause, and then back up. Once you've done the 8 to 12 reps, what you want to do then, take about a minute rest, move on to the next exercise. Next exercise is what we call chair dips. Again, similar movement. We're still working chest, still working the front of the shoulders, and we're working triceps. This is more of a tricep dominant exercise. One issue that we typically see with bench dips is where the hands are pointed forward while we are doing the dips. Especially with dips, what this does is it puts a lot of stress on the shoulder. I'm basically putting myself in a chicken wing right here. It's not ideal. If you have a chair with armrests, you want to grasp each arm right by your side. Scoot to about the middle of the chair here. Slightly lean forward. Again, I'm engaging my shoulders. I'm not shrugging up. Engaging the shoulders. Using my arms as much as possible. I'm going to fully extend up. If this is too difficult, you can assist a little bit more with your feet. But you want to use your arms as much as possible for this. And then I'm going to lower myself back down. Once I get to the top here, I do not want to drop down. I want to lower myself, nice and controlled, pause, and then back up. I want to touch the seat, but I don't want to rest my entire body weight on the seat. I want to be holding myself up even at the very bottom here and pressing straight up. Again, I'm pulling my shoulder blades back. I don't want them forward and rounded and elbows out. Nice and tight elbows, pressing straight up. You should really feel that in the triceps. Again, whichever method is better for you. If you need to use your feet, that's fine. It's going to be, if it's moderate or more difficult than that, I just want to follow that rest period and set and rep scheme, depending on that difficulty. So next thing we have is the isometric wall push-up hold. Isometric means that we're holding it in place. It's a static movement, so we're not doing it. It's really just we're holding that contraction for a prescribed period of time. In this instance, we want to hold that for about 10 seconds. We'll start with the wall here. Same position as the wall push-ups. I'm going to move my feet back to a good comfortable spot. I'm going to lower myself and hold it for 10 to 12 seconds so that my elbows are at a 90-degree angle. And I want to hold it at that 90-degree angle. If you were on a bench press, you unrack the weight, that barbell, and you lower it. This is the same exact movement as if you were to hold that bar in the same spot for about 10 seconds. So from the side, what that looks like, I'm going to hold that 90-degree bend in the elbow, and I'm going to hold that. You want to make sure you're breathing during this. You don't want to hold your breath during the exercise. And then back up. Again, you're going to rest between 1 to 2 minutes between each set, depending on the difficulty of that. If that's too easy, we can move it down to the floor, get that good hand position, everything's in place, and I'm going to hold it right here. And then back up. Once I've done that for the prescribed number of sets. I'm going to move on to the next exercise. What that is, it's the triceps extension kickback. So really, I have dumbbells here. It does not take much weight for this exercise. What we're doing is we are really targeting the triceps. So we're targeting the triceps, the back of the arm, and working on that elbow extension. I want to try to keep every other joint locked in place except my elbow. My elbow should be the only one that's moving during this exercise. One common thing that we see that's not correct is using too much weight and swinging your arm. Swinging your arm using too much weight. Doesn't take much weight here. I've got an 8-pound dumbbell. You can use a soup can, you can use a bottle of water. Anything that's just a pound or two, a couple pounds should do the trick. Something I want to do, if I'm able to stand up and do this, I want to put my feet about hip to shoulder width apart, hinge back at the hips. So again, I'm hinging back just like I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not pushing my knees forward. I'm sitting back, taking my arm, and I'm going to glue it, you could say, to my ribs, to my lat muscle there. From here, I'm making a fist, keeping my knuckles forward, and I'm only using my elbow. I'm only using my tricep to bend my elbow. That should be the only joint that's moving. Nice and controlled, and squeeze the top. You do not want to do this. You want to have it glued right to your side. Full extension, pause, and then back down. Full extension, pause, back down. And then again. Now from a seated position, you could still do this. Maybe easier if you have a chair that does not have arms for this exercise. It's going to be the same principle. I'm going to keep my shoulder locked in place, elbow touching my side. I'm going to fully extend. If you have a countertop or something that will help you from keeping you from falling out of the chair or keeping you from losing your balance, you can hold on to that as well. But again, pinching that, gluing it to my side, and then full extension here. So same exercise, just different ways to do that, different capabilities. So once we finish that exercise up, we'll do both arms, of course. We will move on to the overhead single arm tricep extension. So again, working one arm at a time here. I'm going to take the dumbbell or the soup can or whatever you have for added resistance, water bottle. I usually assist it overhead. Notice how my elbow is pointing towards the ceiling, pointing towards the sky. From here, I'm keeping my wrist straight. So what that looks like is my knuckles are forward. It's not bent either direction, it's straight forward. I'm keeping that grip the entire time. From here, I'm going to extend upward. I'm going to lower it back down, about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit lower, perfectly fine. I'm going to fully extend it again, pausing and then lowering. So each repetition should take about 3 seconds. And this is a good finisher. This is a good way to finish up chest and triceps. As I finish that arm, I'll switch on over and do my left arm. And from the side, it'll look like this. You don't need to have your back resting against the chair. You're more than welcome to. You can definitely scoot out. It's going to cause you to have to engage your core a little bit more while you're doing this. One other option you can do for triceps is on the ground. So if you have any kind of yoga blocks or dumbbells or anything that you can keep steady, another way to really be able to engage the triceps. These are called shallow dips. So if you're able to get on the floor, more difficult way to do it. Again, engaging my shoulders, keep my elbows tight. I'm going to press up. Please reach out to us if you have any questions on any of these exercises, and be happy to work with you on it.